We are live.
Way
Hey
to go.
everyone, another live stream. Today we have OK Studio. And from OK Studio, we have Demián. Demián is a co-founder of OK Studio. I had a conversation with him and asked him, um, how is the business? And he said, well, we are upgrading the studio. And I said, what do you mean by upgrading the studio? And he said, well, we are growing the studio from multiple sides. One side is the client acquisition, another side is internal processes, and the other side, the third one is the final outcome, uh, the images and 3D animation they are doing. And that was interesting for me. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to ask you personally. I'm going to bring you to the live stream, and me and Fabio will ask you the questions so we know more about what you are doing in the studio. Demián, welcome. Fabio as well, welcome. Demián, please introduce yourself to the audience so we know more about you. Thank you.
So, well, hello Fabio, hello Anis. Thank you so much for having me here. Just a quick introduction for the guys that are watching and they don't really know our studio. We founded our studio a few years ago with Diego Moreschi. He's my business partner, my co-founder. We met in college. We're studying architecture in Buenos Aires. And well, it's kind of a funny story because I started working in a small rendering studio here in Buenos Aires in 2015, so over 10 years ago. And when I started working, I used to show Diego what I was doing, and he got really into it. So I started sending him tutorials, and we started, discussing stuff. And then one day we were studying for a final exam of sanitary installations, and he said look man, we have to we have to change course. We have to devote ourselves to doing 3D because it's something that we really enjoy. It's at least for me. I don't know if you guys used to play the Sims when you were younger. But for me, when I started, it was like playing The Sims. When I was playing The Sims, I always liked building the house. That was my favorite part, and I really, really enjoyed it. So, and I still enjoy it to this day. I don't really do much 3D anymore. I do mostly post-production and client acquisition, but I still enjoy it.
Perfect. I did not play The Sims, the ones you mentioned, but definitely I did not enjoy the sanitary exams or even studying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
those are tough.
Great.
It's basically the toilet meme,
Yeah. Where are you going to discharge this toilet? Oh,
Yeah.
that's so interesting.
Absolutely. So, you started 2015. You were with Diego in the same, working as an employee, right? In the same studio.
I mean, I was working at a studio. He was just studying, and I guess it was in 2019 that we finished school. Because it's very common here in Argentina to start working while you're studying university. So I was working there, and when I finished architecture school, I went to Germany to work on a luxury yacht design firm. And Diego started working in a big company here, doing 3D with the stuff that we discussed and learned about together. So we probably started the studio I think the start was the end of 2020, when everything was on hold. We decided well, what the hell? And in 2021 we started getting clients from mainly because I was in Europe at the moment. I started sending emails with our portfolio to different studios, offering. Actually, I was offering to work full time, but because of COVID, everyone was like, "Can you do just this little project and this little thing?" And it was actually, I mean, my main goal was always to have my own company. So I guess things turned out, to that way faster because of the pandemic. And we have been growing ever since, and it's been great.
Great.
Demián, a quick question. What does
Yeah.
OAKI stand for?
That's a good question. Actually, it stands for nothing. There
I
is
love those
yes.
direct answers. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when we started, we were doing like sort of Scandinavian style images. We really enjoyed the work of Johannes Lindqvist, and we were like modeling ourselves after him. And I think oak was like a material that you saw all the time, the wood everywhere. And we thought like, okay, what about oak images? And we searched for it, online, like oakimages.com, and it wasn't available. So we wind up with like OAKI, and it doesn't mean anything. We don't even do Scandinavian style anymore. So
Cool. Would you walk me through those points you told me about for upgrading the studio? Acquisition, internal processes, and quality checks, like with AI.
okay,
The
so
thing
well,
is, what I'm interested to know more about is what was your trigger to say, now is the right time to get a new client, or now is the right time to fix our internal process?
so in 2023, we got a lot of clients from cold email. We actually, I set up like a cold email workflow, on one of those services, and we were getting clients all the time. And in 2024, that stopped working. So we were like, okay, so we have grown the studio to 4 people, and that's really cool. And we are at a place that, I mean, we didn't even imagine that we were going to get there so fast, but we reached like a roadblock. So we had to change course, like what we used to do. I think a lot of studios do it, because I even received like emails today. It's like send an email with a portfolio book, and maybe if they are interested, send like a price list. And I think the main change that we introduced was instead of sending a price list, was in having a discovery meeting. And that changed everything, because once you are at a discovery meeting, it's like that the client is really interested in solving the issue that they have. And that allowed us to like put a different value in the project, in the kind of projects that we are doing. Also, because we are architects and we really enjoy designing. It's not that we are only like 3D renderers that take orders and they are like, okay, you tell me in a PDF you have to put this here, this there. No, we like sometimes we get like a floor plan, and from that floor plan we develop like 10 images, right? And we develop the interior design, the landscape design. We even provide like materials. So I think these kind of meetings allowed me to discover that value that we brought to the table was really important for clients. Also, we started like reaching out to our past clients to ask them, to provide like a short survey, or maybe even an interview. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you probably saw clips of those interviews, like how they see us and how they see us as partners, and that was also really important in terms of client acquisition. In terms of internal process, what we have done is that, so we hired 2 people, right, to help us. And at the start, we were like, okay, because we have both worked in studios. Studios usually have like a structure where it's like a junior artist, mid artist, senior artist, maybe a post production guy, and we didn't really like that. We wanted people to focus. So what we did is like we hired a really great guy. He's also an architect, and he models architecture really fast. And we hired another guy. He does furniture like extremely fast. He's amazing. He's even better than us, and he's only in the industry for like 2 years. And their main work, I wouldn't say that's all they do at the studio, but their main work at the studio is doing that. And of course, they help us with feedback rounds and things like that. But that's like the main work. And then if we want them to learn how to compose an image and how to do materials or things like that, then we teach them. And I think that's really important in terms of that. And then we can go over like the last point, which I think it was like more in terms of like post-production and AI.
Yeah.
If you want to ask questions.
Yeah, I have a question regarding the structure. Then I will go back to the client acquisition. So the structure you said, I didn't exactly get the point. What is different about your structure compared to others? Are you saying that the other studios they have junior, senior, those people are responsible to making the complete image, and in your case, they do have one task, one specific set of tasks, and other maybe you or your partner, you are more responsible for the post production and composition, all the artistic direction.
Yeah. I mean that's what I usually saw at studios. It's like
Okay.
maybe the junior artist like prepares the whole scene, and then there's a senior artist that improves on everything. We wanted to, like, for example, like we wanted like the guy that does architecture to do the architecture right on the first time, because that's the main thing. Because the way we work is that if we have the architecture set up and we have the furniture set up, I'm mainly discussing interior images right now, but the landscape for if it's exteriors, right? Then we can search for the image composition. We can explore. We have time for that. We don't really need a guy to produce an image that's like 50% there, and then we have to take it from there to 100%. Like that sort of like how I see like the junior, mid, and senior style of work. We wanted to have full control of the quality of what we deliver. So that's what we find at the moment.
Yeah, that's really that's really good. But like, does it make more steps into the internal processes? Because like someone needs to finish something, and the other guy, for example, if let's say your partner Diego is making the composition, it means he needs to get the architecture from the architecture guy and the furniture from the other guy. Then he makes the composition, or he starts with it at the same time while the other guys are doing the stuff.
So well, that's where when we get into the AI sort of stuff.
Yeah.
What Diego can do if we are short on time, and he has done it for a few projects in the past. At the moment, is that with a simple clay model, with maybe the model that the client sends, that's usually pretty rough. He starts like placing cameras and building some compositions with some pre-made assets that we have, and then that's like a clay render that we bring it into one of the AI softwares that we use, and we provide a reference image, to match the style, and then we based on that we provide like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 options per image for the client, so they can guide us into what they think is best. We do it for some clients. We don't do it for all of them, because we like to deliver what we think is the best image, because we have confidence in what we do and what we see in an image, and because sometimes clients don't really know where to go. But for more discerning clients, and we have some clients that are really, really great designers, we provide like a full set of options.
Okay, perfect. And
I have a question regarding this workflow. Have you ever had a client saying, yeah, I like the AI image, just leave it like this, it's done, it's ready? Or did you also have like an opposite reaction where they saw the image and they were like, what is this shit? It's all imprecise and the windows are not correct and this is hallucinating. Have you ever had
Not
any of
really.
these experiences?
I mean, not really. I think it's really. I think you can have clients like that. It hasn't happened to us yet, but I think it can happen. It definitely can happen. No, usually they know that it's because I think I focus a lot in communication, right? It's like my job every day. It's like reaching out to clients, like, did you like this? Did you like that? What do you think of this? We have a lot of meetings. They know I'm available for them. So whenever I send this sort of draft AI image, they know that it's like a work in progress. They know it's like this will not be the end result. This is just like a mood board for you to see what you can expect, in terms of lighting, in terms of composition. But probably because we work mostly in the luxury real estate development side, clients are very, 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 I don't know how to say it exactly, but they're very detailed, like you cannot
They're
you
very
cannot
picky.
yeah, you cannot cheat them with AI. You have to like make the perfect material, the perfect lighting, the perfect camera. So I think it's a great step, and I think it's a great technology. But whenever I see like people like saying like AI will replace renderings and it will replace us all, and it's like, man, it won't. It might help you, but it won't replace you.
I look forward to the day that the AI can replace client meetings. It will be my AI talking to my client AI and starting a fight, and then in the internet something is gonna happen, and they're gonna talk shit about each other on their own AI social network. But Demián, I have a question, because I've seen in the past that you mentioned a few times on LinkedIn that you guys price per project rather than per image. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a fair assessment. I mean, it's not that the images don't take into account, right? If you have like a project that's 10 images, it will be more expensive than one that's only one image. But yeah, I mean, we price like we have a starting price per image, and based on the complexity, scale, and timeline of the project, we provide a full package, per project. It's like we don't really like, for example, like doing one image projects, because it takes a long time, to work the way we do, to make a model and search for perspectives and search for assets and all that sorts of stuff. So whenever a client asks us, can you do just one image and it will be cheaper for us, we are like, okay, but that image will cost you a lot.
Yeah, it makes sense. I just wanted to basically understand a little bit the structure, because like in the past, I've had also people coming to me and saying, wouldn't it be better to just charge per project, and then the client gets as many images as possible because it doesn't take too long to render an image, and so you can just price one project and do infinite images. I never really answer to that because like I
Mm.
wait for life to teach a lesson to people rather than
Yeah.
give them my opinion. But yeah, maybe you want to build a little bit on that.
Yeah, of course, of course. I mean, when I say price per project, it's not that we don't take into account how many images we're going to make. It's just that we take into account the modeling, the images, if there's film, how many seconds of film, and then based on that, we provide a full package. It's, I think you could say we are pricing per image, but I think in the end, probably we are, but we are also taking into account like what the project is worth, to the client, and what it will take for us to work on that project, right? Like let's say you are doing a bathroom image. It's like, okay, then it's only one bathroom. Okay, we will charge you like $1,000. Perfect. That's a fair price, right? Then let's say you are doing like 10 images of a Dubai villa, right? And one is a bathroom. Then if we charge you like 1,000 for a bathroom, right, and we are doing 10 images, you might say like, hey, but why is this bathroom the same as the living room, right? And then the client will start like nitpicking, like, is this what if the kitchen you did two images, so it's just one space, and then we have to maybe you can lower the price for that. I think this is just like insane pricing,
I,
I see
I
a lot
think
of.
I think you said a lot of things that maybe we need to uh, sort of like give it a little bit more structure for people to understand, and maybe a lot of people are already understanding this. But what's important from what you're saying, I guess, it's to understand what type of work you're doing for your client, what is the value of the project that you're creating, because an image could have very little value for something that it's not worth a lot of money, but it could have a lot of value for something that it's worth a lot of money. And there is no uh, unethical behavior in charging more for something that has a higher value. And I want to put this out there because a lot of people say, well, to me, it's only 2 days of work. Um, what you have to think for yourself is that every time that you're providing a service for a client, if the project that this client is handling is an expensive project and there is a lot at stake, if you charge just for the work that you do without communicating the fact that there is monetary value in the work that you do, you're not going to be credible. And so it's not a dishonest thing. It's just that it's expected from the client to have to pay more for whatever it is that you're doing. And so I just want to put this out there to any person that is trying to figure out how to price themselves, because you might think, well, I'm honest, I'm cheap, I'm efficient, but maybe your clients are not going to like that. Obviously, this is not always true, but there is a lot of truth in what I just said. And you just need to develop that ability to recognize the opportunities throughout your career so that you can sell yourself at the right price. Okay,
Totally.
I'm
Yeah.
going
I will.
to shut up.
No. I would also add that because you can do something fast doesn't mean that it should be cheap. Because maybe you can do something really fast because you have developed a skill over 15 years or 10 years or 5 years even, that allows you to do that really fast. And it's not really a matter of time. Actually, even sometimes if the client wants something faster than usual, then you charge even more. It's not less.
Yeah, I have one point regarding the prices you mentioned. We have a 10 image for one apartment, and this is the bathroom, this is the kitchen, and the client will say, "Oh, you are doing 2 images for this space. This is the kitchen, this is the bathroom." And this reminds me of a discussion I have always with most of the artists. And they will say, "Anis, can you help me in the pricing?" Yes, I can help you. And we start. Okay, guys, what is your starting point? Well, for interior living room, we start with this. For interior kitchen, we do this. We for a bathroom, we do this. And they said, man, I mean, the client needs really to process this information and go beyond. I mean, go, you know what? I have a half of kitchen. You are not taking a picture of the full kitchen. It's only for one
Yeah.
side. And I have a part of the bathroom. And this is not an argument. You need to have a starting price for your time sitting and pressing the on button for the PC. This is your time. I mean, you need to have the basic value for you to get into the project before even thinking about its interior, exterior, like it is like, I don't know, a smaller thing or a bigger thing. So yeah, that's something really interesting in what you said. Like once in my life, I made one image for a bathroom. I took 1,200 in my early life. That was too much money. Okay. And then I noticed that they gave it to me because the the bath, okay, it was a complete marble stone. And they needed to prove it to see it. The client in Qatar wanted to see it before they ordered the stone from Italy. You see, it was a hugely important. And for me, I was looking to it as an image. For them, it was a confirmation tool for that client. And I mean, it took me like 1 year just being, I would say, just being surprised. Oh, they paid all that money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
I mean, pricing is a huge topic. We will speak more about it, Fabio, right? In the workshop. I mean, in the workshop, we have a complete,
To me, pricing is a fascinating thing because, I mean, I've been in this business now for 20 years, okay? And, for those who have watched my videos, I've always tried to give as much guidance and value as possible to everybody. But I realized that a lot of artists, they just stick to these ideas that they have of what pricing should be, and it's very difficult for them to move out of their own hole that they dig, right? And the problem with that is that in order to live a creative life, you gotta be able to do something where you make enough money to run the operation that allows you to do creative stuff. And so, I don't think that it's always a good time for a conversation about money. There is nothing that people should hold back or feel weird about, because I can tell you one thing. In my career, I've met very little people that became rich with doing visualizations, very little, and they were some of the early adopters. If you do this job and you're really good, you can have a comfortable life, but it will come at a price of having to do a lot of work. That for sure. but it's not something where you can speculate, where you say, oh, I got myself a Ferrari, you know? So we can have conversations about money, because in most cases, you know, people that run a company, and, you know, this is hard to you, Demián, you have expenses, you have people that depend on you.
Yeah,
So, you know, like
yeah,
it's big responsibilities. And, you know, charging the right amount allows you to keep feeding families, feeding, you know, people that depend on you. And so, you know, like I think this is the reason why it's important for us to have these conversations, because otherwise we end up shooting ourselves on the foot all the time.
Yeah, Demian,
yeah.
if you don't mind, I need to to tell Fabio two things. What he said. So the first point about the Ferrari. Yes, there are a lot of people they can buy the Ferrari, but they won't have the time to drive it. This is one. Two, uh, I remember once you made a video about a price calculator. See, and what was amazing, and I mean, I'm talking about the video. I was more into the comments. Oh, this does not really apply to all markets. Oh, this is too much. All my clients won't pay this. Oh, I wouldn't really see this in my life. You see, those are misconceptions. You see, like everyone is thinking, you know what? This is my market. That's it. Closed. Okay. If I want to continue in this domain, I will stick to this. And I mean, it's very little who I meet, and they say, you know what? The market is charging this. I'm going to double it. I'm going to move only for people who are valuing this. I mean, literally, people who are paying money, they value the responsibility. And when you charge 2, 3K for an image, it doesn't mean that it should have higher quality than others. It has high responsibility. You are beating a deadline that is close, that is uh, the, there is a project behind this. It's not like just one JPEG file, you see, or PNG file.
Yeah.
So that was the two things about this. Um, do you have do you want to say anything about it?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I think artists are in a tough position, you know, because they love their art, they love what they do. Uh, like, for example, when I see what Mir does and I see their website, I'm like, oh, this is incredible. And we would love to do that sort of projects, but people need to understand that this is a service, you know, this is a design service. And maybe because we are architects, we understand it, you know, from working in college and understanding that you're not going to always design, you know, the palais de Versailles. It's not going to be that easy. It's not, sometimes you will have to make a regular house, a house, and it's a house. And that doesn't mean that you're selling yourself. That doesn't mean that your work doesn't matter. I mean, it matters to the guy that's going to live in that house, and that should be enough for you to understand that your work has value. And but I think it's very important to distinguish, you know, between design and art, right? For people
You
to
know,
value themselves.
for this topic, this reminds me like when we make when we I meet a client and we make a portfolio, and I ask usually about previous work. Show me the images that you can publish, and they will get me portfolio images. Yes, portfolio images, they are trying to replicate what they see on the web from me or different people. Yes, they are great images, but like maybe it took you 1 year, every month you put like 2 hours into this image, and then after 1 year you got it out. The client won't really ask you for this most of the time. They will ask you about normal building. Show me how you can provide me with a great image for normal building. I need to sell it. I don't want to have an image to print it and like hang it on the wall. So that's basically a big thing. I always look for normal projects. I think Demian is frozen. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
So normal
Sorry.
project, the typical case where people really do day to day. That's one thing. Sorry, we sidetracked from your topic. Sorry for that, but like pricing is always something. Fabio, you have a comment? Uh, Javier said, Fabio, you should know Matthew. Matthew, I don't know how many people are called Matthew. Do you know Matthew who he's talking about?
I know a bunch of Matthews.
Yeah,
Can I can I can I have a little more information?
maybe the first letter of the second name. So we have Bobby saying, hey, Bobby, I worked for an international firm and they were charging 3%. He got a new department uh, head and his first project, he quoted 15%. And his client did not blink. All new clients were charged 15. You see? Yeah. So Javier said Bannister, Matthew Bannister.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, I would really doubt that there is someone probably that doesn't be, Okay, let's go back to the topic. Um, so we were talking about, client acquisition. We did not speak about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, we talking about internal processes, and you mentioned AI.
Yeah, I
Uh,
mean, we are also using AI for client acquisition. We use some research tools, to research companies that might be a good fit for us. We Because sending cold emails stopped working, we decided to change the way we were like reaching out to companies and to like laser focus on new companies that we feel are the right fit for us, that we have already assets. Like, for example, right now we are targeting Miami luxury development because we have incredible assets for that sort of buildings already in our library, so that allows us to make images a lot faster. And using research tools, like deep research from Perplexity or OpenAI or whatever company you like. They are all pretty similar. You can really like build like a snapshot of the company, and I think that's really important, to understand what they do, what they value, what they like. And then we are also, investing. Well, if you probably see me on LinkedIn, I post every day. I post interviews with clients. I'm preparing to start posting like some short form videos, to provide more entertaining information. And that, I think that's mainly, the change. And we also, have a small book we send to clients or possible clients. We reach out, to everyone at the company from top to bottom, because we feel that architecture companies and real estate developers, they are you don't know who is going to make the decision, about buying. You don't know. It might be the CEO, it might be the project manager. So we reach out to everyone, like, hi, we'll go to speak with you. Hello, don't be a nuisance. Don't if you are doing that, don't have like 15 follow-ups. If they don't answer you on the first or second try, just leave it there. And that's usually the way we are doing things now. It really does take up a lot of my time. I would say, like, I'm working probably on client acquisition like 80% of the time and 20% on post-production. But it's really important if you want to grow, I believe.
yeah, today I got I was in a meeting with someone, and he asked me, can you help me do a client acquisition system where I invest only 8 hours per week? Per week. I said week or
Can
day?
you do 4?
Yeah, I mean, it's very tough. I said maybe after 1 year when you have the complete system, yes, maybe. But like in the beginning, you don't need that sort of time. I mean, it is not easy. Yeah, I mean, but like it is interesting. You said deep research from complexity, and you are using some, I mean, other tools other than the cold email. Right. Also, LinkedIn as well, right?
Yeah.
So you are more specific into how you want to work with compared to cold email. Okay, we have a
Yeah.
question for Demian. Uh, yeah, from Syrian. So Syrian tried, or he or she, I don't know, tried previously to get hired from Fabio's company. So, hi, Demian, are you currently hiring remote artists? And which software do you use?
So there's actually a reason why we don't hire remote artists, and it's because we are a very small team,
Mhm.
and what our key differentiator is the quality that we produce. And to have remote artists working the way we like, we feel that it would take longer to get there.
Yeah,
I know there are great remote artists and there are great companies that do all remote. It's just a preference that we have with Diego, that we feel like we prefer, seeing each other in the office. We prefer like the back and forth that generates from being together in the same room, the creativity that springs from that. So at the moment, we are not doing it. Maybe in the next few years, if we are more than 20 people at the office and we want to, have a different remote team, then we will do it. But I would say, if you are a senior artist, maybe you can do full remote. If you are just starting out, I would recommend that you go to an office, because you will learn a lot and you
mm,
will meet people, you will make friends, you will meet colleagues that are in the same field that you are. If you work alone, for me, I'm a pretty extroverted person, and I don't really, I did, like the home office for a few years during COVID and that stuff, and I feel like it gets you down. I don't know. I know that people like it, but I prefer like a hybrid approach.
yeah. I mean, yeah, home office is not for everyone. I would say it could be a short-term solution, but like, yeah, there should be always a place for work somehow. I don't know. This is my opinion. I mean, Fabio, did you work from home?
It's really, I think it's really, it depends on many cases. Eventually, like having the possibility of doing remote work allows you, to, when you need it, get a little bit of that space and that isolation that you might be seeking. But I do agree with what Damien said. You do need a space that it's just built for creativity, where you can go out, talk to people, because it's also that social confrontation that allows you to grow and to test yourself and test your skills and have sort of like a direct feedback loop, right? One thing that I do remember from my time at Telephone Skin, where everything is remote, is that the feedback loop was a lot longer, right? It's
Mhm.
not necessarily a bad thing, but sometimes there are certain situations where you wish you were there, because then you could talk to the artist and say, no, no, do it like this. And then, we would hop on a call, but, it's different when you just go to the desk of somebody and say, hey, let's do this now so that we get it done and then we can move to the next task. It's also like a different type of um, dynamic in a way. But eventually, as I said, like there are different situations and people have different attitude towards this. But I do think that there is a lot of positive and a lot of like also could be better, so to say, in remote work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we have a question for Fabio from Siri. Fabio, I have one question. If I ask you about the ratio of exterior and interior renders, which is more, it means the
I
demand.
think she means like more in demand.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't know if it is she or he.
Or he. I don't know. Sorry.
I think
Because I
Serin,
mean,
it's a male name. Maybe he
yeah,
can
the thing,
confirm with
Sirin,
us.
I mean, send me an email saying, "Hey, I want to get to know more about the workshop." And I asked, "Do you have a portfolio?" No. Do you have a website? No. Do you have a link? No. Do you have any portfolio online? Yes. No. So at some point, I really doubted that it's a real person. Maybe it could be an AI bot, but like then I see Fabio. It's made by
Serin, are
this.
you a bot?
No, sorry. Respect, yeah. I mean, if you are real, so please show us your face at least. So, would you like to
I
answer
don't know.
this question?
I think it's I cannot really answer that. It depends where you work. In our company right now at the Digital Bunch, I think we do exponentially more exterior than interior. At Elephant Skin, if we were doing real estate images, it was probably 50-50. Sometimes we would have projects just with the outside images. Sometimes if it was uh, recently we have done something at the Digital Bunch where it was mainly interior work. But I do think that so if I test an artist for skills, I will test those skills on exterior images, because exterior images are a lot more difficult to control. You need to have a much better understanding of lighting, composition. With interiors, like a lot of models are ready. The interior light, it's a lot easier to manage. The environment, it's closed, and so it's easier to reproduce. To me, it's more important to check the skills of an artist with exterior images rather than interior images. Interior images, there are so many presets, you don't even have to do any work. Like you just dump all the models in it. If you have a basic understanding of light and composition, you can do very good interior images. And actually, oftentimes I do get portfolios from people that have fantastic interior works, and then I ask for exteriors, and then the portfolios goes like and I'm like, yeah, I knew that.
Okay. Um, so guys, congratulations. Now we know Sirin is she. Okay.
Oh,
So we can say,
I apologize, Serin.
okay.
I thought
So,
so because I met Serin one time in Germany and she was a woman.
okay. Okay, great. I mean, Sirin is a name, also an Arabic name,
Yeah.
and it's the name of a girl. But like, I don't know if it's from some sort of a place in the world where Sirin is a guy. I don't know. Okay, so Demian, um, based on the topic we are speaking now, basically the artist, interior exteriors. Okay, would you walk me through how do you I mean, yes, we talked about using AI to qualify clients, companies, profiling them. Um, would you walk me through how do you qualify a new member team, a new team member?
Yeah. So this stuff, I mean, I have one of my best friends. He's a psychologist and he's on human resources, so he helped me out with this. And he mentioned one thing that I think might be interesting for guys to know is that sometimes people that come from a different industry, they have more drive because they
Mm,
are entering a new industry and they want to learn a lot. So so for example, like one of our new members, he didn't study architecture. He just did like a course in 3D rendering, and he worked at a studio for a few years, and then he decided to stop working there and sent us like a CV, like a
Mhm.
presentation. And we saw his stuff, and we thought like, okay, so this guy doesn't have any formal training. uh, Probably some companies will say like, no, that you are not fit for this. But we hired the guy, because of what my friend said, and he was really is amazing. He really is an amazing guy. So that's one thing that I would say. Then what Diego does is that he provides like probably uh, one feedback, from what our clients provided from an old project, and then he is like, okay, do this feedback, and then we see what happens. Like it's something that should take like 1 or 2 hours, right? So it's just a little test, to see if the guy has what it takes, to do feedback rounds, and if he takes care, he takes attention to detail, and he sees, like the nuance maybe in some comments. So because sometimes architects or designers or developers, they communicate in a way that's not entirely, understandable for the artist. So it's really, I mean, it's not to their fault. It's something that happens
Yeah,
when you're communicating, right? Like in a visual medium, you're just writing words. It leaves gaps to interpretation. So a nuanced artist with experience knows how to interpret that comment, and that's something that we look for, in new hires. At the moment, we aren't searching for new hires, but we'll probably be searching for in a few months. Yeah.
yeah, great. So, well, first of all, thank you. This tip is really great. I do believe what you said that someone from the outside will be more motivated. That's true. Um, First of all, if we lost Fabio, I don't know. I think his connection again. Anyway,
No.
um, I just want to summarize what we talked about. We talked about your client acquisition, I would say, activities, how you changed from cold email to different approach, and then the internal processes. I do have a question about it, and then we have the AI into your outcome. Um, and you mentioned that you are doing um, client acquisition plus post production.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, your team, each one has specific task. That's what we mentioned, right? One guy is doing this, another one this. Diego is composition and artistic eye, or maybe art direction, and you are taking the responsibility for the post production. Um, how do you structure the tasks? I mean, for example, I'm getting a new project. You are getting a new project. Okay. Where does it start, and how do you make sure that the outcome is always great? I mean, do you depend on your skill in the post production to make sure the quality is always great?
No, no, not really. I mean, it's a team effort. If the architecture is not good, then the image won't look good. Uh, there are things that you can do with AI to improve materials, to improve the landscape and the entourage, the people, but the base of 3D has to be there.
Mm.
So the way we structure projects is like I receive, the information from the client, I provide it to the team, and then Diego analyzes it, he delivers it, he divides per task. Like this guy will do the architecture, here are the floor plans, here are the materials, the windows, etc. And here are the assets, and the guy that takes care of the assets, the furniture, will start working on the assets, will start searching for them in our library or in the internet libraries. And if there are no assets there, he will start developing them. So this way, they are already working on the base of the image. While they are working on this, Diego is working on doing like the concept development. When concept development is finished, the guys already know where the image is going. We can send it to the client. Once we get feedback from the client, then Diego, which is the main composer, main artist of the team, he will start composing all the scenes. And when all the scenes are done, he will render them. I will pick it up from the server, and I will start making the post-production. When I do post-production, I have like a time to check everything, to see that nothing has been missed, because we don't have a project manager at the moment. So I do that, when I see the image. If I see anything that's wrong, I tell Diego, we have to change this, change that, and I will continue with the next one. It's always very important to have two eyes doing revisions inside before sending it to a client. I think there's nothing that upsets a client more than seeing a comment that hasn't been addressed. Like seeing a comment that hasn't been addressed for a client is like an insult. It's like you didn't even address this, and they won't notice that you have delivered an amazing image because the comment that they made hasn't been addressed. So that's, I think, that two-way, street for revisions, the one where Diego analyzes the image and one where I do it, it's really important. And then I will do post-production on Photoshop usually, and I will upload the final image to our AI upscaler. And after upscaling it, it usually adds some detail here and there. It improves the people and the landscape, but sometimes it destroys some materials. So you have to take it to Photoshop again and start like masking the stuff that's not really there. And that really takes the images to a whole new level. If the 3D base is not there, if your composition is wrong, and if your lighting is wrong, the AI cannot help you there.
No.
It can't. It simply can't. But if your composition is strong, your lighting is strong, and there are some materials that are not really perfectly developed because maybe, I don't know, maybe the client sent a sample and the sample was 20 pixels wide. You cannot use it. Well, then the AI will really help you there. So it's really important to know on which stuff you can, optimize. And that's usually our workflow. We try to deliver our first image. We try to deliver it, with the same quality as the final image, so that the client already from the start sees a strong composition and an image that works. Because we found that if you send like clay models, or if you send like that first draft that's not really there, the client usually gets like a little restless. They are like, okay, but are we going to get something like the things that we see on your website? Because that's really important, A lot of companies, maybe they publish on their websites stuff that's, like you said, for the portfolios, like stuff that you see a portfolio and it's an amazing image. And then when your clients consult with you for a project, they will expect that sort of quality. So we try to deliver that sort of quality from the start, so that they don't worry.
Yeah, great. I mean, you mentioned one thing about having two eyes on an image. That's very important. I mean, this is really helpful to have a second opinion about the image because sometimes we get lost into the project. We really forget what was our, I would say, focus point. We have a question for you. In your office, uh, what are the percentages of the images, interior versus exteriors?
Well, I would say it really depends on the project. Like we do a lot of houses in Miami. Uh, the they are mostly exteriors for those houses, though we do interiors. Maybe it's 50-50 sometimes. It will really depend on if the architect is like developing, the interior design. Maybe they aren't, so they don't want to waste money on doing interior images. They just do the exterior of the house. You have to show, the greenery. But then sometimes you do like only interior design stuff. Maybe in different markets, like for example in Dubai or Saudi Arabia. Maybe they are more focused, on the luxury styling of the interior. So maybe you do like a 20 image project that's only interiors. I think you have to be able to take care of both. Like Fabio said, like if you want to be a complete artist, you have to take care of both. At least if you're going to devote yourself to architectural visualization, to real estate development. If you're going to do furniture images, I have a friend. He's amazing at that. He's called Javier Weinstein. Maybe some of you know him. He's really, really famous on Instagram, and he does like 99.9% interior images, and almost everything you will see on his Instagram is interior images, and he's amazing at it. But he works with a lot of furniture companies. I mean, it's a niche. You can do that if you prefer to do all interiors.
Yeah. So Poppy asked an important question: how many revisions do you allow for a normal project?
So we allow for between 2 and 3 revisions. I would say it really depends on the project, but we deliver a first draft, so a second draft, and then a final image. If a client has like a minor comment, then I would count that as a third revision, but we try to keep it, in 2 or 3, because then it gets a bit messy, and it's good to be open. If a client requests something that doesn't take a lot of time, and you can like fix it, maybe in Photoshop in like 1 minute, it's good to be open and not be like always confronting with the client. But at the same time, some clients might take advantage of that. So you have to know, you have to gauge how you feel about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, when you say first draft, second draft, final, and the first draft is what you mean that almost final image, finished
Yeah,
image.
yeah,
Okay, okay, I see. So basically, the client has two rounds of revisions on an 80 or 90% finished image.
yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Everything
yeah,
will be there. I mean, everything will be
yeah,
there.
great. So Fabio said that he was kicked out from the meeting. I don't really know what happened, but like said that um, it says I need to let him in. Like I don't see him in the waiting room. But anyway,
Oh,
we are almost finished. I have one last question about the studio. Like anyone who is doing nice images, they might stay in the market for a while, but if they don't know what is unique about the service, they won't be able to grow because there must be something unique about why we are doing this. What would you say the unique thing about Open Studio?
Yeah, so this is something I have been thinking about a lot. I think the main thing I would say is creativity, because we are architects. The both founders, we are architects. We have like a master's degree in architecture from the University of Buenos Aires, and
Yeah.
we know how to design a building. We know what's important in a design. We know what's important to show in a design. We know the market, and we understand floor plans, we understand elevations, we understand what architects say. That's what I meant, when I said about being, like knowing the nuance of what the comments are saying. And I think that's something that we bring to the table that a lot of clients have mentioned. That's something that takes a load off their mind, because a lot of companies, and I'm not bashing them, but a lot of companies are very strict, and when they get a project from a client, the information has to be completely there so that they can provide it to the team. Maybe their team aren't architects, maybe they aren't designers, so they have like specific instructions, right? And a lot of our clients have mentioned like it's great that we can provide a floor plan for you, provide a schematic, provide maybe some concept development, some mood boards, and then you provide us with a first draft that has things that we didn't even imagine.
Yeah,
I think that really sets us apart. Like at
yeah,
the
yeah.
start, I mean that's just point one, and point two, I would say communication. Like
Mm.
being open, to communicating with the client, being available if they send an email. I'm not saying to respond to emails at 10 p.m. When you are, eating with your girlfriend or your kids, but I mean, like, really be open, and really, when a client sends you like the information, send an email like, "Thank you, I got the information." Like at least so they know that you are working on it.
Yeah,
Like this is something that I think happens a lot in maybe in smaller studios, but you have to respect your client's time. You have to respect that the money that they bring to the table. You have to respect that their project. So I would say that's like point number two. And then point number three, it's probably quality. Like always deliver the highest quality you can. I'm not saying that every project you will deliver will be the highest quality you can, because sometimes timelines don't allow for that, but it should be the highest quality that you can do in that timeline. Like never half-ass it. And I think that's something that really sets us apart, and that makes clients trust us.
perfect. So if we would summarize, so you mentioned the beginning, you understand your client very well because you are one of them. Okay. Two is communication. Three is quality. Okay, great.
Yeah.
We do have a comment, I think, from Francis. So he said, I like to think that I can do everything from start to finish. I do not see the point of only doing the inside when you can learn a lot by doing both the inside and the outside. Yeah, I think it doesn't, it's not something, it's not related to you. It's related to the client. If the client is doing only interiors and you are serving that client, so basically you end up doing only interiors. I mean, we
Yeah.
do have one. I mean, we do know. I mean, Fabio, you know him. Also, Francisco Flomin. I mean, he is like an expert into luxury interiors, and he does like 95% of his work is mainly interiors. Um, but yeah, I mean, it depends on the target client. I mean, if you are working with an architect that is doing interior and exterior, yes, we'll do everything for them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But do you have any questions for Damien? I mean, I got a lot of information today, I would say.
Actually,
Um,
I wanted to say that I don't know why I got kicked out from the stream, but I kept listening on LinkedIn to the stream, and I thought that this was very valuable, Damien.
Thank you, Fabio. I
great.
actually want to thank you because when we started watching your videos, and it was really great to see someone in the industry like discussing this stuff.
Well, I'm glad then that you're still here. I cannot take responsibility for because
Yeah.
one thing that I've learned in my career is that people 4 or 5 years into their career in ArchViz, man, thank you so much for helping us out. 10 years later, the fuck, man! If I knew it, I would have not gone into this career.
Yeah.
It can be stressful. I think this is also important for people to know. It can be stressful, but it really depends on you how you take it, because the larger the projects are, the the, the more stressful they will become. If you are doing like a 20 image project in 2 weeks, and maybe you have 5 other projects at the same time, and the client is breathing down your neck, uh, you do have to center yourself.
Damien, let me tell you one thing though. I have a lot of friends that are not in ArchViz. They do other things, and they're completely disassociated from everything that we do. Everybody, when it comes to their jobs, they have one issue or the other. We are privileged because we still get to do what we love. It's not easy, but it's never gonna be easy. No matter what you do. If you decide that you want to run a marathon, it's never gonna be easy. If you decide that you want to learn how to play piano, it's never gonna be easy. Yeah, there'll be some times where you feel like you're doing great and that you're flying, but there will be a lot of down times, and I guarantee you that those will come for everybody. But the difference is that between us and those who do other jobs just because of the money or because of other commitments, family, whatever, we still get to do something that we love. Like, we go to conferences to meet people that do the same job as us. Think how
Yeah,
crazy that is.
totally. Yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't agree more.
I never heard an accountant going to an accounting conference. You know what I mean? It's like, man, I went to this Excel event. It was amazing.
Right, right.
Yeah.
I
You know,
learned a lot of formulas.
yeah, there is also no podcast about these things, right? No live stream about Excel tips and tricks for accountants.
I don't know,
Wait,
but there
probably
is
there is.
an
We don't know. We're
Excel.
just
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're just making fun of accountants right now. I feel
yeah,
so
maybe,
bad.
yeah.
I want to say, like, my girlfriend studied a bit of accounting, so I don't want to knock that. But I want to say there is a World Cup on Excel.
I've heard
There
of that.
is.
Yes.
I heard of that. Like, I
Yeah.
saw it on
Really?
YouTube one time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Demian, you told me something about a hobby you do. It was stand-up comedy, something like that?
Oh
But
well, if any of the guys watching speak Spanish, you can see my stand-up comedy. But I don't know if it will translate because it talks a lot about like Argentinian politics. So
okay.
uh, I don't know how much it will translate. But there is on YouTube like a video of me doing stand-up. It's
Can
something I
you?
enjoy doing.
Yeah, I brought this up because I'm putting the program for the mastermind in end of May. And I think, I mean, if you come here, it would be great to have a stand-up academy, a stand-up comedy.
I have to do it in English. I bet it's
Yeah, I
probably
mean,
a bit harder, but
yeah, you still have 3 months.
okay, okay. I will call my teacher and see if he can help me.
I mean, we have a lot of things we can make jokes about. I mean, either industry or clients.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
promise you to keep the recording internal.
Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. That was really great. Let me see the comments. So Francis said, I just want to say that it's always good to be able to do both. Yeah, of course. Uh,
Yeah.
we got the point. I'm just explain the point about being specialized. Bobby asked a question: how does the market look like uh, for US currently? March is usually busy, but January and February have been up normally slow for me, and I am always buried with projects. Demián.
I mean, I don't know if I can speak to the market. We have been really buried with projects this on January and February, and also on December and November. But I mean, everybody. I think everybody has its ups and downs. I don't know how big your company is, but I know big companies here in Argentina that had a really bad 2024 in the start, and then by the end they were picking it back up. I know that it has something to do with the interest rates that are. I think in the US they are expecting interest rate cuts, and that always helps, to finance more development projects. But for us, these first few months have been actually a bit stressful for the amount of projects. But I like I said, like the industry, I think it's very distributed. So you can have one company that's doing like 10 projects in 1 month, and one that's doing nothing, and then the next month it reverses. So
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for this. There
Damien,
are
one more thing. The other time when we were talking about, like different markets, you mentioned something about Miami being a very good market for you.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I mean, I think it's probably like we discussed. It's probably because we speak Spanish. We are Argentinian. We have a lot of friends, living in Miami, and we probably the culture, of Latin America is like very similar. So our first client in Miami was an Argentinian guy that lived there, and then he recommended us to someone, and you get it rolling, right? So I think I heard that a lot of companies have a lot of trouble, working in Miami, and I think it can be a problem if you don't really understand, like how to treat the negotiation. Maybe it can be a problem because maybe you feel like you are being taken advantage, but the way we communicate maybe in Latin America is different, so it's not really like that. And but I heard that sort of stuff. So yeah.
But it's important what you just said, because I think that people need to understand that they can actually leverage the cultural aspect. Like, I can tell you one thing. I have quite a few contacts in Brazil that told me that actually the Brazilian market is flourishing, right? And that's because first of all, Brazilian people are figuring out how to make renderings. This is a brand new market in Brazil. People might think, well, it's been for a very long time, but actually the industry, it's quite new in Brazil. It's probably like 5 or 6 years old in comparison to other places where, and so there is a boom now. uh, a lot of it has to do with Under Alencar
Yeah.
and courses.
Yeah.
But basically, it's a brand new market, and people are figuring out when they go out and they try to work with America, and they have all these clashes with culture. That actually, if you work with Brazilians on projects that are big and they have a lot of potential, that there is also money and possibilities within your own country. And so, like oftentimes you hear artists saying, in my country there is no projects, the economy is bad. Well, if you learn how to sort of like deal with clients, and you understand what it is that you're doing in terms of value, you can actually change the conversation and be a very good consultant for your own people, because you'll be able to understand the culture, speak the language, and so on and so forth. So I think it's very important what you just said, because people should think about this, right? If you find a connection, a cultural connection, this can help you a lot with landing projects and making successful projects.
Completely. And I would also add, like change your mindset if you think like that. Like if you think like nothing can happen in my country, or nothing can happen in the whichever market you are, it's like, if you believe that, then that will happen. But that's
Yeah.
not really the case. I mean, Brazil is a monster of a country. I have been there many times. It's a beautiful country. There are things being done there that are incredible. And for example, in Argentina, it's also a really big country, and it used to be very difficult to get work for this industry, and the pay was really low. But at the moment, there are a lot of projects going on here. We have charged a lot of money for some projects developing here, and it's I think it's important to be open and to be receptive and to be positive, about what can happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we have a question from Francis. So what technologies do you think will be the future of ArcViz? Unreal, Unity, 3D Max, Cinema 4D, Blender, AI.
Should I answer?
Yeah, you're the only 3D artist, 3D professional. Yeah.
Okay, so I think those technologies are the present of AI, of ArcViz, sorry. Like 3ds Max is not going away, I don't think. I mean, even if it pains me to say it, because sometimes it crashes and we hate it for it. Uh, Blender, I mean, there are amazing guys working with Blender, amazing guys working with Cinema 4D, Unity and Unreal. They can do amazing stuff, but I think you need a bigger team to do things with Unreal and Unity, because you have to, like, I think one of the past interviewees from the podcast said, like Matteo, I think it was, like you need a team, to work on an ArcViz development. You need to take it like a game development, because those are game engines. We tried working with those for a few times, and it wasn't really easy. I mean, the learning curve is really steep, but there are amazing things done with Unreal, amazing things done with Unity, and AI. Of course, it's going to be a great asset for everyone that develops their own workflows, develops their own, maybe even your own model, or LoRa's. I know they are called, like to help you with specific tasks, like improving people, improving landscape, improving materials. So I would say, if you want to, because maybe your question is going to this, if you want to get a job in this industry, start learning whatever software you like. Like if you prefer Cinema 4D, start learning Cinema 4D, and then you can search for a job that's looking for that software.
Yeah, but like I know Francis, I mean he's an experienced artist, and I think he's
Okay.
doing something with Unreal. But to this question, I think Francis, it's very tough to figure out what is the future. I know a studio in Australia. They are doing completely everything in Blender. The quality is amazing, but there is a big problem, which is the assets, and there aren't many people in Blender doing ArchViz. So this is the problem. Although the software is great, the results are great in terms of animation and images, but the assets are tough to develop. Cinema 4D, it's like Fabio's topic. I think 3D Max. I don't know if it will stay, but like yes, Unreal is something you do need a maybe bigger team. I know a studio in Greece. They were doing all of this stuff like for Unreal. The guy or the studio hired a new um, junior artist and sent him for for a training, okay, and paid for the training. And the artist came back with a new knowledge about Unreal, and then he started offering films to real estate using Unreal. But is it the future? I don't know.
I think
Okay,
that like we cannot really talk about
stuff.
tools and future, because like the future really lays in the way that society evolves. Tools is just something that you use. And as far as I'm concerned, you can start learning 3ds Max, Blender, Cinema. Once you learn one tool and you understand the basics of UV unwrapping, UV mapping, BSDF materials, all that stuff that you need to learn, it takes maybe a week, 2 weeks to port it into another
Yeah,
software. Yes, you're not going to be super fast for the first month of using 3ds Max, but who cares? Like, it will take you a little bit of time and you'll learn it, you'll figure it out. It's always like that. You don't have to be scared of learning new things. You should actually be excited when there is something new to learn, because it means that you're changing, that you're putting yourself out there and you're figuring out new stuff. People, like the artists are so afraid of learning new things, and I'm like, there is so much joy in learning new things, like it means that you're alive, that you're doing stuff.
yeah. There is a question from Bobby. He said, "Do you think manual renderings will ever return? I mean, AI vomit is everywhere. Yes, and so people might fall back in love with hand renderings.
There
I
is a
think,
friend of mine that is now offering just digital sketches,
yeah,
and he doesn't do much work, but like people call him for those images.
yeah,
And his name is Mike Golden. He's an amazing artist. He does incredible 3D work. Like he's an incredible artist, but the sketches and the stuff that he does painterly, wow, like and he has spent a lot of time developing those skills. I guarantee you, AI, yeah, it can fake it, but it'll never have that sort of like touch and feel that he's capable of bringing, uh, and that's because like there is this dynamic that goes on between the way that we do things and the way our brain reacts to it. Bob Ross used to refer to it as a happy accidents, right? This is just our body correcting our movement as we get that feedback. AI could just make a facsimile of that. And, if we settle for this, sooner or later, that facsimile is going to lose value. It's not going to have any value, right? We're going to move to something different, something new. So again, like, it's very difficult for me to have a negative outlook on this industry, because artists are fucking amazing, like, we're gonna adapt and we're gonna change and we're gonna come up with different newer solutions. Trust the process, just keep at it.
Yeah, one thing for the hand drawn renderings. There is something really beautiful about this. Like with a sketch or a rendering or maybe a watercolored renderings, you understand more things than the things that are already drawn. Like your imagination will work to complete the scene. You see, when something is not completely complete. And this is very beautiful. It's very, I would say, human. This is how I look at it. And I think who we need to ask is Scott Baumberger, because he has a company that offers watercolor renderings. You see, so in case he has more demand in that, so this means like people are looking for this. But yeah, maybe he could be a guest for next episodes. Um, so if you can share the link, um,
i'm
Mike.
gonna i'm gonna paste it in the conversation.
Okay, into LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay, because Bobby is on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm going to take the link there. No worries.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we have him. Yeah, so I pasted the link. I would
Oh my
like
god,
also
Anis, we're already like an hour and 30 minutes in this thing. I need to go and make dinner.
really.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why I
that was really a nice conversation, I would say.
no, it is.
Um, so Francis, yes, I like the answer. I'm designer, I'm also 3D visualizer. I'm also an Unreal artist. Yeah, I always like to learn new things. I mean, Francis' work is really nice. I mean, you should look at it. Maybe you can connect with him and see his work. Anyway,
Of course, of course.
Demian, it was great, really like amazing. I learned more stuff than I thought I would really learn. And I hope the viewers also, thank you, Bobby. The viewers also got some benefits out of this. Okay. If you have any other questions, please go directly to Demian and ask him. I think he would be happy to connect with you all on LinkedIn. And thank you again, Fabio. I'm not
Sorry
going to
about
make it longer.
locking out before. I don't know what happened. I was waiting
No, I
for
mean,
you to let me in back.
all good, all good. Um, thank you for your time, Fabio. Sorry, I'm not going to make you wait for your dinner.
It's okay.
Um,
It's okay.
see you next week, guys, on another live stream. We will see who is going to be the next guest. And if there is any other questions, please reach out to me and Fabio. Also, one last thing. Sorry, I forgot this in the beginning. Guys, we are running a workshop at the end of March. This workshop is completely business stuff, pricing strategy, how to price a project, client types, qualifying clients, reaching out to them in these new times. It's not an old dated method. It's not cold email. It's nothing. It is completely, I would say, authentic, professional way in getting clients and how to price, how to run the sales meeting, the script, the everything. Okay, anyone who is interested, reach out to Fabio or me. You will get the information. Then you decide if you would like to get in. We do have a discount, 30%, valid only until the end of February. You can also join the regular price. The workshop is happening at the end of March, uh, 28th, 29th, 30th of March. It's going to be 3 days, and we have three follow-up meetings. Anyway, if you are interested, you can get the information, and you will know more about all the things inside the day, the programs of each day. Um, yeah, now I'm finished. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. See you next Wednesday. Thank you, and again, Demian, and goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.